Man has a reputation for being one of the biggest cap artists in the music industry. Basically, everything he puts out is massively botted and inflated. He's nowhere near as popular as he acts like he is. So I decided to check out and see how his latest project is doing. It's right here. It's been out for about 2 weeks. I tallied up all of the plays. Equals about 750K on Spotify. So we double that since Apple Music is a thing. Lands you on about 1.5 million streams after 2 weeks. And by the measure that we use, we divide that by 1,500. That is 1,000. 1,000 album sales total in the first 2 weeks of its release. So, again, this guy wants you to believe that he's got money. And I'm just saying it's bullshit, okay? 1,000 in the first 2 weeks.
Adam22, shut your broke ass up. Shut your broke ass up, Adam22, nigga. This shit play money.
When it comes to the hip-hop industry, one thing you don't play with is a man's money. And that's exactly where things went left between Adam22 from No Jumper and independent rapper Money Man. Now, this situation didn't come from years of tension or any deep personal history. This was one of those moments where a conversation turned into a conflict. And once it hit the internet, there was no turning back. It all started when Adam22 was speaking on another topic entirely, but in the middle of that discussion, he threw a comment toward Money Man that didn't sit right. He basically questioned his financial status, implying that Money Man might not be as up as he claims to be. And in hip-hop, that's not a small statement. That's direct disrespect. Money Man wasted no time responding. Instead of going back and forth with words alone, he did what a lot of artists do when their name is questioned. He showed money. Posting large amounts of cash and making it clear that he's far from broke. But he didn't stop there. He took it a step further and basically flipped the script on Adam22 and No Jumper as a platform. Money Man made it known that if he were to ever sit down for an interview, it wouldn't be for free. He put a price tag on his presence, saying it would take around $50,000 just to get him in that chair. Now that right there changed the entire dynamic. Because traditionally, platforms like No Jumper offer exposure, and artists come through to promote themselves. But Money Man positioned himself like he didn't need that exposure, and that if anything, the platform would need to pay him. Adam22 wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back by downplaying the whole cash flex narrative, basically saying that pulling out stacks of money doesn't necessarily prove real wealth. He leaned more into the idea that true success comes from business structure, assets, and long-term income, not just what you can show on camera. At that point, it wasn't even about the original comment anymore. It turned into a bigger conversation about what being rich really means, who has real leverage in the industry, and whether platforms still hold power over artists in today's independent era. And that's really what this whole situation represents. You've got Adam22, who comes from the media side, where numbers, interviews, and audience reach matter. And then you've got Money Man, who built his brand off independence, financial literacy, and not needing traditional platforms to stay relevant. So when those two worlds collide, it's almost inevitable that there's going to be friction. Now, to be clear, this isn't what you would call serious beef. There's no long history, no real-life issues behind it. This is more about pride, perception, and protecting your name in front of an audience. But at the same time, situations like this show how the game has changed. Artists today don't rely on platforms the way they used to, and because of that, they're more willing to challenge them. And on the other side, media personalities are more outspoken than ever, which can easily rub artists the wrong way. At the end of the day, this could have stayed a simple disagreement. But once money got brought into it, and both sides had something to prove, it turned into a public back and forth that the internet was always going to amplify. And if there's one lesson in all of this, it's that in this industry, respect and perception go hand in hand. The moment either one gets questioned, things can escalate fast. The real solution in situations like this comes down to discipline, communication, and understanding roles in the industry. From Adam22's side, there has to be more awareness when speaking on artists' finances. In hip-hop, money isn't just numbers. It's tied to respect, reputation, and brand value. Throwaway comments can turn into full-blown conflicts because you're not just talking to an artist, you're speaking on their livelihood in front of millions of people. Moving smarter with words doesn't mean being fake, it just means being strategic. On the other side, Moneyman also represents the new era of independence, and while standing on your value is important, everything doesn't have to turn into a public standoff. There's power in addressing things directly behind the scenes, especially when both parties are operating in the same industry. Not every disagreement needs to become content. The real lesson here is about leverage and perception. Platforms have to understand that artists today don't need them the same way they used to. But at the same time, artists have to recognize that media still plays a role in visibility, narrative, and long-term relevance. It's not about who has more power, it's about how both sides can use each other without creating unnecessary friction. Because in reality, this situation didn't have to go this far. A simple conversation, a clarification, or even a private check-in could have kept this from becoming public drama. But once pride steps in and the internet gets involved, everything gets amplified. Final thought. In today's industry, the smartest move isn't proving who's richer or more important. It's knowing when to protect your brand instead of your ego. Because money comes and goes, but your reputation in this game will follow you a lot longer.